Hello, YouTube. Today we have with us a very special guest, Randy Roberts Potts. Hello.
Hey, how are you all doing?
So I'm not a great interviewer. We're just going to sit and talk over coffee, and we will invite you all to join us. So Randy came to see our premiere for A Right to Love, An American Family, and he's been staying with us for the last few days, and we've gotten to know each other and hopefully become really good friends. Which means now I get to grill him for details over coffee.
Oh boy.
So, the first thing I think a lot of people think about when they hear your story is, of course, about your grandfather and your history with the church.
Right.
And as somebody who's grown up in a church environment myself, I think what I would want to know first is that something that you still embrace as a part of yourself, or is it something you hold kind of at a distance?
Like my past?
Yeah, because some people really reject the religion they grew up in. Other people try to hold on to it at all costs.
I've been all over the place with that. In my 20s, I really rejected anything to do with religion or my like the Roberts family name, that kind of thing. I like to think I'm a little more mature in my 30s and definitely more comfortable. You know, now I can go to a church with service with friends and take something away from it and like kind of I'm not uncomfortable about being Oral Roberts' grandson anymore, which I used to be. Now I feel like my middle name I used to hide, and now I'm like, okay, very comfortable with being Randy Roberts Potts. So I think I don't know, I'm much more comfortable than I was, but it's still not like, I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing about me or that kind of thing.
Well, then that begs the question, what is your favorite thing?
What is my favorite thing about me? I don't know, I'm a big Star Wars nerd like you guys. I don't know.
Bonus point. Ding!
Big Star Wars. You guys might have had me beat, but I'm not sure.
It's not a competition.
You have more figurines than me. For sure.
So I remember when I first saw your love letter to your Uncle Ronnie. That was very moving. And I think you cried in it. I cried watching it. Everybody cried. For the people who have responded to that video, how is that dealing with the people who are coming to you with their own history with the church and looking to you as if you're sort of a healing influence on their life because you are, how do I want to say this? Well, just the fact that you exist, I think, for a lot of people negates a lot of what Oral Roberts did through his ministry.
Right, yeah.
So how is that for you receiving that attention?
It's really, especially when it was new, I was really uncomfortable with it. I didn't really plan to make an It Gets Better video. I'd never really planned to be public or anything. And I came out 5 years before that and, wasn't really public about the Roberts thing. So I made that sort of a spur of the moment. Like I had this letter to my uncle and I was like, well, this might help a few kids if they hear this, so I made it really quickly, and then a lot of people started emailing me, and it was really, I found it really stressful at first. Like, I felt like I was kind of pouring my heart out, and then people were looking at me for answers, and I got a lot of people writing saying, I'm gay, I want to still be Christian, can I be Christian? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I mean, you can be, but I don't know if you should be. Like, that's your call. I didn't feel like I was in a position to tell people to give advice or anything like that. So I felt pretty overwhelmed by it. I think now it's been long enough that I've realized that it's really more about the conversation, the discussion that helps people. And but yeah, it was pretty overwhelming at first, and I didn't see it coming. I thought like, 50 friends on Facebook might watch it, and that was about it. Like I didn't see it turning into something
big.
Yeah,
and of course it did.
It did. Yeah, I didn't see that at all. And if I had known it would have, I'm glad I didn't, because I don't think I could have made it. I would have been too nervous to do something like that. So.
Well, now that you pretty much are an internet celebrity in your own way, And you've been on a lot of stuff. You've been on the Joy Behar show.
Yeah.
You've been on. I think you've been on CNN.
Yeah, MSNBC. It's been some things. Yeah.
By the way, at our movie premiere, right? All these people are giving us attention, and I asked Randy, "Have you ever been to anything like this?" He said, "No." And then I see the Joy Behar show, and I see CNN, and I'm thinking, "Lie."
I hadn't been to a movie premiere before, so that was, not a lot.
So then, who is the Randy that you would want the internet to know?
I think that, the advocacy stuff I do and the speaking and everything is always about, me being gay and coming out from this, fundamentalist background. But my boyfriend and I were talking, or actually, partner, I guess you should say, he and I were talking about how that's not really all of who I am. I mean, I am a gay man from a fundamentalist family, but I'm a writer, I'm a father, I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'm a lot of things, and to me, being gay is as much of my identity as the average straight person's being straight. It's like, yeah, it's there, it exists, but it's not really. Sometimes I'm like, well, how do people spend so much time talking about it all the time? Because I don't know, it's just, it's what I do, a few percentage points of the time in my life, but it's not everything about me, so sometimes it's, I don't know, I just feel like it's a small picture of a person just to focus on them being gay, but it makes sense, but.
Yeah, I guess in light of the fact that so many people struggle with that part of themselves.
Right, yeah.
So, in addition to your It Gets Better video, you also put yourself out there to help raise awareness in a lot of other ways, too.
Right.
I know you write, which would you care to mention some of the things that you would want people to know in addition to the persona people I think perceive?
Sure, I write food articles but I do write mostly social justice type stuff for different publications. But yeah, I'm a writer.
And he also has a blog.
I have a blog. Yeah, I have a blog that I don't write on as much as I should, but I did just get an editorial accepted by the Advocate, which I'm excited about because it's about one of my heroes, Troy Perry, who's really the first guy. He founded the first gay church in 1968, and so it's really cool to get kind of the word out about this hero and gay rights struggle that people don't talk about. So I'm excited about that. I do have another editorial coming out that I've written with. He's a what do you call it? He's a professor now, but he's also worked. He's argued before the Supreme Court, and he and I co-authored an editorial about how to approach evangelicals, people who really aren't on your side, but you share something in common with. And so we've co-authored an editorial that I'm excited about. That it'll be appearing in Dallas soon. Because a lot of my message is that, yes, there's a huge group of evangelical Christians who are very much, strongly anti-gay, but we have things in common with them, and instead of just yelling at them and saying, be accepting, and yelling and pushing signs in their faces, I think there are other approaches to focus on what we have in common and how we can make the world a better place, even if they don't, accept gay marriage tomorrow, or something like that.
That's a tall task, though, because it takes a lot of courage to approach evangelicals when you expect so much backlash and rejection. It
does, yeah.
It's literally like walking into the lion's den. So how do you manage that?
I think what I've realized is you try to do it one-on-one. You don't, say, write an open letter to some big evangelical leader and think that they're going to respond or something. But putting in a call to their secretary and saying, hey, I just want to talk privately off the record about some issues in bullying and that kind of thing. Sometimes you get a receptive ear, especially with youth ministers, I've realized, because they are dealing with bullying and gay suicide and that kind of thing, and they often don't know what to do about it, and they often can't talk to their pastor because their pastor will just say, well, no, gay is just wrong and don't even discuss it, and that kind of thing, or kick them out of the youth group. So a lot of youth ministers are actually looking for some guidance, even if they're not going to be completely affirming tomorrow. We have a joint mission, which is to help these kids survive, which is important.
It's extremely important.
Really, yeah.
I think anytime you get exposed, when you put yourself out there on the internet and you start researching it and getting into a conversation about it, you realize that the problem is a lot bigger than I think some people realize it is.
Yeah, sure.
And so, do you ever feel overwhelmed by that aspect of it?
Yeah, definitely. I do. I mean, it's hard to get emails from people in dark spots in their lives, because sometimes you're in a dark place, or you're depressed, or whatever, something bad happened, and so it's hard sometimes to check your email and know that there's going to be some more emails like that. It's hard, but I think it feels worthwhile too. But
yeah. Well, let's move on to the gay agenda.
That
we're going to
dastardly
conspire.
Gay agenda.
So,
It's a big bad thing.
Tell us about that. I want to hear all about it.
Okay, so I had this dream last year. It was in June. I woke up, and usually I don't remember my dreams, but I had this dream, and in the dream, my boyfriend at the time, we were living in this glass box in Central Park in New York. And in the box was just like a couch and a kitchen, and we were just living, and people were walking around almost like it was a zoo or something and looking in. And I woke up from it, and I was like, that's just a really weird dream. And then I over the next few days, though, it was just really a visual dream, and it kept sticking with me. And I started thinking how really the point of that dream, I think, is that, you hear all the time, and I've thought all the time, what if people really saw what a gay couple looks like, in person saw what a gay couple looks like, which is really boring. Like, I've watched these two guys, and all they do is, like, they drink a lot of coffee, they tickle their kids, they play with Star Wars figurines. They're pretty boring. I haven't seen the figurines part, but they have them, though, and I think they play with them. But
that's what they're for, people.
Yeah,
leave them in the box.
I think they play with them. So out of that idea, I started to think, well, is there some kind of way to do like a performance piece where we go to, not New York, not Manhattan or something where it's normal to be gay in a lot of ways, but somewhere like, Birmingham, Alabama, or Jackson, Mississippi, or Fargo, North Dakota. How can I expand this idea, this dream I had? And so I came up with this plan, and we're going to find a storefront in these small towns, like somewhere on like kind of a main street area where people are walking around, and we're going to set up with a little couch and a little kitchenette and that kind of thing, and a local gay or lesbian couple will just live in it. And they're not going to do anything crazy, they're going to be doing what you might do around your kids. So you might give your boyfriend or girlfriend a peck on the cheek or something, but you're not going to make out in front of your kids, for an hour or something. So they're going to do what would be acceptable for a straight couple to do in public: hold hands, put an arm around each other, peck on the cheek. But mostly they'll be doing what you do at home. So vacuuming and, watching TV, making coffee, having friends over for dinner, playing cards. And I think, watching this after about 2 or 3 minutes, it's going to be really boring. Mm-hmm. But the whole point is, this project is called the Gay Agenda, to get some attention. People will be like, yeah, I want to see what this gay agenda is. And then they look, and it's like, well, there's nothing to really complain about. Like, he's vacuuming and he's reading on the couch.
And so you've actually done this already.
We did it in Dallas to test it out. We did it at an arts fair where we knew people are usually pretty gay friendly at an arts fair. So we just wanted to do it in public to see what it felt like and if we needed a script, and it worked really well. Even at the arts fair, like, one mom walked up with her daughter and she didn't know what the project was. So she started watching us, and they were looking. I could tell they didn't know what we were doing. I think I was vacuuming. And then she read the little sign and it said that this was performance art, and it was designed to encourage acceptance and love of gay people. And she grabbed her daughter's hand and marched her off. And I would have loved to talk to her and ask, well, which part of this, was too much for her daughter to see, because I'm sure she's seen someone vacuum before, and but it's going to be interesting. We're going to take it to towns that are not used to seeing this at all, but we're going to be very respectful of their values. So we're not going to try to be in your face and wear be scantily clad and run around and do things that are disrespectful to small town values. We want to be respectful, but at the same time suggest that being gay, there's nothing wrong with it, and it does actually have conservative values for some couples, and they can be married and all that kind of thing.
Now, something that we ran into on Gay Family Values was we thought we were going to be changing the minds of straight people by showing our family, and quite often we ended up changing the minds of a lot of very young gay people who were told that this was not a life that was available to them.
Right.
So do you think you will run into some of that?
Yeah, no, to me, I think a lot of older straight people in small communities are probably not going to pay much attention to this, or if they do, just in a really negative way. To me, my main target are gay teenagers and moms of gay teenagers. I think those two groups will be, even if they don't come to see it, they'll be watching. They'll read the press coverage. They might walk by it, and I'm hoping it'll make the biggest impression on people that are kind of having to deal with this issue, and leave an impression on a mom who might think, okay, I'm suspicious my son's gay and I'm terrified of it. He's going to go get AIDS. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. But then seeing a couple, actually just making coffee, thinking, well, my son might have a good future. So I think that visual hopefully will help a lot of people who are already kind of thinking about this.
And I think that's incredible and very worthwhile. I do admit that if I was sitting on my couch in the middle of a public space, I would probably have a little bit more fear and trepidation than I do here in my home with a video camera. Yeah. I mean, was that on your mind when you were doing it?
Yeah, we're not going to tiny towns, because I think in some, really rural communities, there might be a worry about being physically hurt or something. We're going to go to places that have an established gay community, but a small one, and people who, so a town like the size of, say, Jackson, Mississippi. So it's kind of the most liberal area in Mississippi, probably, and there are people who are gay friendly there, and there is a gay scene. A gay community, but it's a small one, and there are a lot of people who are not supportive. So to me, that seems like a perfect size community where it's not going to be so crazy that we're going to be in physical danger, but I think it'll also be pushing the envelope enough to maybe get people to rethink it.
So YouTube, what you don't see in editing is that Jay totally yelled at me about how long this video is getting. So what we'd like to talk...
I spoke softly.
With the big stick.
What are you...
Now we've all got the giggles. How are we going to do this? Okay. Deep breath.
Deep breath.
Just to finish talking about the Gay Agenda project, you've actually set up a foundation to help, that people can donate to help support setting it up, to help...
Yeah.
To talk a little bit more about that, so that I understand it too.
It's brand new. I don't have my own nonprofit, so I was looking for a nonprofit to help me kind of do the funds and all that kind of thing. So there's a group called Liberty Education Forum. They're a small but national LGBT group who their focus is on LGBT education in conservative areas, which to me was like, that's great.
Who knew that even existed?
Yeah, but they exist. And so I contacted them, and they are on board. So I'm partnering with them, and on their website you can go to Liberty Education Forum and you can donate. As long as you put my name in there, it goes to this project, or you can put the Gay Agenda, either one. And yeah, we're trying to raise $10,000 in each community that we go to, and we want to leave a portion of that money with a local LGBT charity as well. So we feel like we're trying to have multiple impacts. We're trying to set a different visual. We're trying to help out an LGBT group in a town that doesn't normally get national attention. So hopefully there's a lot of different impacts from this. But yeah, please, Liberty Education Forum. You can donate to the Gay Agenda or put my name in there, and it'll get tagged for that project.
And I think it's a really awesome project that all of us should support, and we here at Gay Family Values are considering doing this too.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So please give them some... okay, forget that. Blah, 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 blah. So please give it some support and go check it out. I have one question for Randy as a dad, and that is, you were married and had your children,
right,
and now you are out, which magically makes you a gay dad.
It does.
Yeah. What changed?
What changed as far as being a parent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You notice any difference between
Nothing
being married?
at all.
Yeah, see?
Zero. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about being a parent?
Man, my favorite part about being a parent is just, I don't even know where to start. I feel lucky every day to wake up, and I feel lucky every night when I go to bed. I'm so thankful for those kids being in my life, and they give me a sense of meaning and why I'm here, and I learn so much from them. I get so much more from them than they ever get from me. They would never realize that, but they're really, when I was in my late 20s, there was a point where I was married, but I knew I was gay. I needed to come out, but I really just didn't feel like I could, and I was extremely depressed. I would just wanted to die for years. I would fantasize that my car would hit a tree or something, and I would just be over. And the reason knowing that I have my kids, I was like, I can't do that. I have to find a way to be a happy dad because, they deserve that.
Yeah.
And I finally realized that coming out was the only way to be happy. And it's amazing, like, coming out changed me completely. I used to be this really shy person. I walked like this, and I'm a motorbike person. I had these huge glasses and, like, dressed in big baggy clothes that were completely asexual. And it's like, as soon as I came out, like, I all of a sudden could hold my head up and I could talk in front of people, and all these things that I'd kind of battled my whole life just disappeared without even really trying. It was, I don't know if that happens to everybody, but to me, it was like this huge transition. It's been great.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think what we're all dying to know is, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back.
Awesome. Extra points there, too. And we all got to go see the movie last night. We saw it for the first time, and we loved what Jaybird Productions put together. It was incredible and overwhelming for me as the person who was in it. What did you think? Was it okay?
I loved it. I remember when I watched, I've seen a lot of the Gay Family Values videos and everything, and I was wondering, like, I've never made a movie, and I was like, how do you take YouTube videos and make a movie that makes sense, that's all, so I didn't know what to expect, and it really, I think I cried by like minute 3, and then about every 3 or 4 minutes, I would, tear up again, all through the whole movie. It really did an awesome job of showing you guys as just a family, as raising kids. The thing that made me cry in the first like 3 or 4 minutes, all that happened was it showed you guys a quick montage of like you guys getting up and brushing teeth and making breakfast for the kids. And I was like, most of my life was spent thinking I could never have that with a partner, a male partner. I never thought that could be me. And seeing that, and even knowing that now I do have that, was just a huge thing. I think the movie's it's great.
Awesome. Well, I am really excited to see what it does out there in the world. I hope it kind of continues what we've started here on Gay Family Values, because that's really what we wanted for it the most. If it helps people understand that they can be whoever they want to be, whether you want to get married or you don't want to get married, and it hopefully changes some straight people's minds as well, to help them realize that it's not an issue, it's real people, and we're just putting our faces out there to be an example of that. But there are millions of other gay people and gay families out there just like ours. So thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thanks for having me out here. I get to hang out with movie stars. It's pretty cool. And this is a first.
We're not movie stars.
I think you are. I'm sorry to tell you.
And we will talk to you again, YouTube. Hopefully we'll see Randy back in future episodes, because we don't intend on letting this be a one-time thing. See you later. Say bye, Randy.
Bye-bye.